And you've just heard Cowboys Never Cry, the current single by Conor Heafey, and I'm delighted to be joined by Conor now. Hello, Conor.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. What can you tell us about Cowboys Never Cry?
Cowboys Never Cry is kind of my take on, the masculine need to kind of hold all your kind of emotions and stuff. And I wrote it actually like a couple days after my cat died.
Right.
Which was a sad time, but like I found myself just like really feeling really bad, but like yeah, it kind of felt a bit weird to feel that way because it's it's like just a cat, but I almost felt worse than like some other kind of like grief and stuff in the past, and then like that made me question like the feelings about grief and stuff and how we all kind of deal with it and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how grief in general and how, some things can hit us unexpectedly while others, are perhaps more straightforward. And the title's great for that because that was always the thing in the kind of cowboy movies that I saw growing up was you had Shane walking away in the distance, and never an emotion was kind of heard.
Yeah, kind of like that stoicness, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And is this released ahead of an EP? Because I know you've released a couple of tracks recently, but is it going to be an EP or an album?
Yeah, so it's a short album called Sunk Cost, which is actually, it should be out now. And yeah, it's like a small album, 7 tracks that I kind of worked on over lockdown. A lot of the songs were written kind of like before lockdown actually, and just kind of worked and collated them all. And we had that kind of time of not really doing anything, just sitting inside.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if these were lockdown songs, but you say there was some of them had been started beforehand, but were you basically working on them kind of locked down?
Yeah, I think just like everyone else, you just had an abundance of time and yeah, just needed to have an output really. So yeah, I just kind of collated them and recorded them, re-recorded them, and then sat them for a while, and then how you go in and out of things during lockdown.
And so were you able to kind of work on them at home, or were there other people involved?
It was just all at home kind of thing. I just recorded it in my little home studio here and did all the drums and all the parts myself. So it was a nice experience of I've worked on singles and smaller like records and stuff myself here before, but it was good to really just put the time in and concentrate on one larger piece.
And you said that Cowboys Never Cry is quite introspective and looking at kind of that idea of grief. Did you find that became a theme through the kind of situation you were in, that you were kind of reflecting inwards more?
Yeah, I would say so. I consider myself quite lucky. We didn't have any losses from COVID and such through the lockdowns and the couple of years over then. But yeah, I think everyone was kind of thinking about that kind of stuff. It was a pretty dark time for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you've also been working on music with the band Blush Club, whose single Ornamental Ponds is out now. We'll hear it a bit later in the show. But how did Blush Club come about?
Blush Club was, for me personally, it was a kind of, like I said, like I normally just record and write on my own, and it's quite solitary a lot of the time. So I wanted to be involved in a larger project a bit more collaboratively, and that really came about. Actually, it was before lockdown. That was 2019. We played, my band, we played with the Vignettes, they were called at the time, and we were just captured by Hamish, the frontman, who was doing his thing on stage in King Tut's, and me and my drummer Cameron were like, we're going to get him, we're going to put him in a band. So we did.
So that was it. It was just a kind of, we've played together, we really like what you do, let's go for it.
Yeah, we kind of went out for some drinks later that night, and by the end of the night we'd already like organized a rehearsal to just get things moving.
And did the music kind of come fairly easily, the kind of type of music you wanted to do?
Yeah, like I said, it was, for me, it was like to be new kind of outlet, and I wanted to do some more kind of, you know, lead guitar rock kind of driven stuff, and just be a bit more on the sidelines and deal with the music. So yeah, that was the kind of the main thing we had in mind, just a kind of more of an in your face kind of driven band. And then, you know, the usual story is you get in the rehearsal room and it all kind of comes together.
Because I was going to ask you the difference between making stuff under your own name and being in a band, but I mean, is there one? Is it just different dynamics?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a lot of it's the process as well, the writing process, which I've been really enjoying collaboratively. You know, everyone brings their own part to the band, and you can just bounce things off each other, which is really valuable.
And I was thinking about the sound of Blush Club, and it seems to me it's kind of in that quite a Scottish tradition of indie pop. Some people call it jangle pop, but is that how you feel about it? Do you feel that you're in, you know, playing music that is in any tradition at all?
I think it kind of, it bounces around. We put out one EP last year, which was definitely more kind of indie kind of pop rock songs. This first track, Ornamental Ponds, is the first single from a set of 4, which will be out in September. And I think it's a bit more of a left field kind of, a little bit more quirky kind of thing going on with that EP.
And do you have, when you're making music in a band, do you bring different influences? Did you say, oh, I think you might like a bit of this, or you kind of, do you know each other well enough anyway that you know what each other likes?
I think so. I think our kind of usual process is someone will bring an idea to the rehearsal room and you know, show it to the group, and then I think we all kind of spark off of each other and just kind of just let it kind of go where it's going to go, really. And then Hamish will, you know, sit down, observe the music, and then he'll be in the corner scribbling down some kind of poetry or something, and then just lay it on top.
So it's interesting that you kind of got together through playing live together, even if you weren't in the same band at the time. Are there plans to now take Blush Club live?
Yeah, for sure. We have, at the time of recording, we've got one show booked on the 19th of August. We're doing a headline in Broadcast for their Central Belters line of shows. But yes, there will be some more shows coming up after the EP's off as well. So
have you played live as Blush Club yet?
We have, yeah. We managed to put we did like 2 shows before the whole COVID thing kicked off, which was nice. It was good to kind of actually get out there. And then we did a launch show for our last EP in November last year, which was really good to kind of be back with the band kind of thing. And
you've got your own EP, as you mentioned. Are there plans to go and play that live?
It's still part of our set list at the moment. Yeah, we've played the songs out and about in Glasgow, and they go down quite nicely, which is good. So we'll be playing them. So yeah, tune into that as well.
And you've been playing with a band again. I mean, was it easy to kind of take these songs that were written very much on your own and produced very much on your own, lockdown, and then take them to the band? Was that quite an easy transition?
For my solo stuff,
yeah, for your solo stuff,
with the backing band there, yeah, it's a little difficult because obviously for me it's kind of like I don't want to be the dictator. Sometimes I give them a recording which I've made in here on my own, and especially when I'm playing with musicians who are much better at their own music, like their own instrument than I am. You know, if I give my drum parts to my drummer Cameron, he's like, I'm gonna do my own thing on these. I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
And how has it been going out and playing live again? Because just when you're saying that it's been a couple of years we're locked down, and sometimes I forget just how long it was. Was it strange, or was it just like, you know, riding a bicycle? You just got straight back into it?
I felt like it was just normal. I thought it would be really hard, honestly. Like, I don't know, I kind of went into a bit of a shell, like socially, you know, just not seeing people and stuff. I found almost being on stage easier than just, you know, interacting with people again. I mean, it's much more normal now. It's been a little while now, but sure. Back at the start, yeah, it was strange. I felt a lot more comfortable just like doing the music thing rather than going out and being social.
I suppose you've still got that barrier of the stage, you know, you've still got some kind of distance there, so it's maybe a bit easier than being.
You can rehearse your performance, you know, you can't rehearse your conversations, can you?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And have you got other plans for the rest of the year in terms of your music or with Blush Club?
For me, it's fairly open for me with my project. I kind of just was at the point where I had these collections of songs and I was just like, I got to get them out there. I need to like, I feel like I need to put stuff out before I can really move on. So
Right.
I'm going to definitely do some more writing, hopefully towards the end of summer, and maybe a couple of songs, you know, out online. But for the rest of the year, yeah, I think the main focus is Blush Club at the moment.
No, excellent. Well, Conor, thanks so much for taking the time to have a chat with me. I really do appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And this is Blush Club and Ornamental Ponds.